Greetings everyone. The most influential individuals are not loud, they are composed, quiet, and deeply observant. You cannot easily control a person who perceives everything yet chooses not to react impulsively. Consider this. How often have you allowed someone's words or behavior to disturb your peace, provoke your anger, or drag you into chaos? How frequently have you felt controlled by another person's emotions, as if you were merely a piece in their game? The uncomfortable reality is that you surrender your power each time you react without consideration. If you continue on this path, the world will keep wearing you down, eroding your tranquility, your joy, and your sense of identity. However, there is another way. Stoicism teaches us that true strength lies not in what happens to us, but in how we decide to respond. It's not about avoiding life's storms, but about learning to stand firm within them. Today, I will show you how to escape that cycle, to stop letting external forces dictate your emotions and begin reclaiming your inner stability. If you're ready to cease being controlled and take command of your peace, consider subscribing. It's a step toward committing to your personal growth, your self-mastery, and your journey to genuine freedom. Let's begin. Habit number 1, they listen more than they speak. Have you ever been in a discussion with someone who talks incessantly? They share every detail about their life, thoughts, and opinions. At first, it may seem harmless or even engaging, but soon you realize something: they are revealing too much, leaving themselves exposed. They overshare, unaware that every word offers others a potential opportunity to take advantage. But here is what truly steadfast people, those who are difficult to manipulate or deceive, understand: real power lies in listening, not speaking. When you listen more than you talk, you are not merely hearing words. You are gathering information, understanding the conversation's subtleties, the emotions behind the words, and the speaker's true intent. In this quiet, observant space, you become aware of what is left unsaid, the clues hidden in tone, body language, and even the silence between sentences. There is a certain power in silence. It is not awkward but empowering. When you remain quiet, you invite others to fill the space. People often reveal more when they feel they are not being judged and have the floor. So, instead of rushing to fill silence with your own thoughts, let them speak. Let them show you who they truly are. Often, the quieter you are, the more you understand about the person in front of you. You start to notice inconsistencies in their narrative and gaps in their logic. The best part? You do not have to reveal anything about yourself in the process. Think about a manipulative person. They thrive on extracting information, drawing you into conversations where they can learn about your vulnerabilities. The more they know, the more control they have. But if you remain silent and listen with intention, they are left guessing. They lack the tools needed to influence you. You keep your cards close, never giving them the satisfaction of knowing what affects you. It is like a game of chess where your strategy is to never reveal your next move. Now, you might wonder, but what if I want to share my thoughts too? It is natural to want to be heard. However, there is strength in choosing when and how you speak. As Marcus Aurelius reminded us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Listening more than you speak is about controlling your own mind, actions, and responses. You are not letting others dictate the conversation. Instead, you are choosing how much of yourself to reveal and when. Imagine a situation where someone is trying to manipulate you. They are pushing your buttons, trying to provoke a reaction, eager to upset you so they can control the interaction. If you stay calm and listen rather than react, you disarm them. Their words lose their impact. The power dynamic shifts because you have already chosen to remain in control. Your silence becomes your defense. Listening also requires acute awareness. It is about noticing subtle cues, the things people do not say outright. Watch how they react to specific topics. Observe changes in their body language when discussing something personal or difficult. Are they making eye contact or avoiding it? Do their words match their actions? In these moments, you can gather significant insight into someone's true feelings, intentions, and trustworthiness. The more you practice this, the more you recognize that people are constantly revealing themselves. You just need to pay attention. By listening more and speaking less, you shift the balance of power. You control the narrative because you are aware, observant, and not easily swayed by others' words. Your silence compels people to fill the space, and within that space, you can observe, form judgments, and decide how to proceed. It is a subtle but significant shift. Habit number 2, they don't explain themselves too much. How often have you over-explained your actions, choices, or feelings? It is as if you are scrambling for someone's understanding, as if their approval completes your own sense of worth. But deep down, you know it rarely works. The more you explain, the more you feel they just don't get it, and often, they never will. Have you noticed that the harder you try to convince someone of your perspective, the more they resist? It is frustrating and draining, and ultimately, you are exhausted from defending something that should not require defense. Here is the truth that people who cannot be manipulated have learned: you do not need to explain yourself to anyone. In fact, over-explaining often signals insecurity. It is a desperate attempt to gain validation, to make others see you in a certain light. But those with true inner strength do not need that validation. They understand that if someone is determined to misunderstand them, they will. No matter how carefully you craft your words, some people will view things through their own biased lens, regardless of what you say. So, what if you stopped explaining yourself so much? What if you chose to simply be? Instead of defending every decision, let your actions speak for you. People who are truly grounded do not need to justify their every choice. Whether in personal life, work, or relationships, you do not need to convince anyone to see the world your way or beg for their approval. Let the quality of your actions do the talking. The quiet strength of not over-explaining comes from deep self-awareness and confidence. When you live aligned with your values and know who you are, your peace speaks louder than words. You become someone who does not have to justify every step. Your actions tell the story, your words are merely an afterthought. Imagine the next time someone questions your decision. Instead of launching into a lengthy explanation, you simply stand in your truth. You can confidently state, "This is my choice. I've thought it through, and I'm at peace with it." That is all. Let your stance, your presence, and your decision stand as your answer. When you do this, you create an invisible shield around your peace. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." People who cannot be manipulated have done just that. Because they have become their true selves, they feel no need to defend their choices. They know that anyone who genuinely respects them will see the value in their actions, not just their words. In a world where many try to mold themselves for approval, those who stand firm in authenticity are untouchable. They do not play the game of constant justification. Their authenticity is enough. Think about your own life. How often have you explained why you chose a certain job, distanced yourself from certain people, or avoided particular activities? You might give far more information than necessary. But what happens? Most people either do not care as much as you think, or they have already made up their mind about you. Your explanation changes little. It just leaves you drained. Instead, what if you stopped trying to prove yourself? What if you simply trusted that your decisions are valid because you made them? Imagine walking into a room knowing your presence and choices speak for themselves. There is a calmness that comes from this, an inner peace that cannot be shaken. When you stop over-explaining, you also stop giving your power away. You reclaim it every time you choose silence over defense. You strengthen your boundaries and reinforce your inner resilience. A key truth: not everyone needs to understand you. In fact, the more you explain, the more you risk becoming trapped by others' perceptions. If you constantly seek understanding from others, you will never be truly free. This does not mean you stop communicating. It means your worth is not tied to whether others understand your every move. You do not need constant approval or reassurance. The people who matter, those who respect you, will accept you as you are without endless justification. They will trust your actions, and that trust speaks louder than words. When you stop explaining yourself, you exude a confidence that requires no words. You live from a place of calm assurance. Your peace is not dependent on others' approval, it is rooted in your deep understanding of who you are. From this foundation, no manipulation, judgment, or external pressure can move you. So, the next time you feel the urge to explain yourself, pause. Ask yourself, do I really need to justify this, or is it enough for me to simply be who I am? When you embrace this quiet confidence, you will find the world responds to you differently. You will no longer be the one defending your choices, you will be the one standing firmly in your truth, letting your actions speak for you. That is a strength no one can easily manipulate. Habit number 3, they stay calm when others want a reaction. How easy is it for someone to push your buttons? Perhaps they say something rude, make a cutting remark, or simply do something that irritates you. Suddenly, you react. Frustration builds, emotions flare, and you are caught in a cycle of irritation. Sound familiar? It happens to all of us, especially in a world where many seem to seek a reaction. But here is the hard truth, the people with real power are those who stay calm when the world wants them to lose their temper. Think about it, when someone tries to provoke you, pushing you toward an explosive reaction, you are giving them control. They get exactly what they want, your energy, your attention, your emotional response. Manipulators thrive on this. They know that if they can get under your skin, they are pulling the strings. They play on your emotions to throw you off balance, to make you react in ways that ultimately benefit them. However, when you stay calm and do not give them the reaction they seek, they lose their grip. They lose their power. It is easy to believe that responding emotionally is the only way to defend yourself, that if you do not react, you are letting the other person win. But that is a trap. In reality, the most powerful thing you can do is remain unmoved. You do not need to match their energy, shout back, retaliate, or prove a point. Instead, you can choose to stay grounded and unshaken. This is where real strength lies, in your ability to stay calm and rise above the noise. It is not about being passive or weak, it is about choosing how you engage with the world. When someone tries to provoke you, staying calm is a form of mental and emotional control. You decide what affects you, not the person trying to drag you into their chaos. It is about protecting your peace. Carl Jung once said, "You are what you do, not what you say you'll do." In this context, your true strength is shown not by your words or promises, but by your actions in the face of adversity. When you choose to stay calm and not let your emotions take over, you demonstrate inner strength. You show that no matter how much someone tries to stir the pot, you are in control of your own responses. So, the next time you feel frustration bubbling up, take a moment. Pause. Take a deep breath. Let the silence be your shield. It is a small act of defiance against the chaos someone else is trying to create. By staying calm, you take away their power to dictate how you feel. They may try to throw you off balance, but you remain steady and centered. You hold the power. This is not about being indifferent. It is about choosing how you engage with the world and deal with people who bring negativity into your life. It is about protecting your energy and emotional well-being. When you stop reacting emotionally and resist the urge to lash out or get defensive, you are no longer playing their game. You are playing your own. Staying calm does not mean suppressing your feelings or pretending you are unaffected. It means you choose to control your response. You do not allow someone else's words or actions to dictate your state of mind. The more you practice this, the easier it becomes. Over time, you will see that your peace is not something anyone can take from you, it belongs to you alone. This composure also creates a ripple effect in your life. When you maintain calm in the face of challenges, you become less rattled by life's inevitable ups and downs. You begin to see the world from a clearer, more objective perspective. Instead of reacting from emotion, you respond with intention. You become someone who is not easily shaken, no matter what happens around you. So, the next time someone tries to stir you up, remember, the calmer you remain, the more control they lose. They may push your buttons, but you do not have to play along. Your silence and composure are powerful tools. When you wield them, you gain the upper hand. You choose how much of your energy to give away. By refusing to react emotionally, you take back your power, your peace, and your control. In a world constantly pulling at your emotions, staying calm is a revolutionary act. It is a way to reclaim your power from those who seek to manipulate it. When you make this choice, to stay calm and unshaken, you will find your inner peace grows, and those around you begin to recognize your strength. They will see they can no longer control you through provocation, and they will respect the quiet strength you hold. So, take a moment next time. Pause, breathe, and choose your response wisely. Stay calm and collected, and watch how the world around you shifts. You will be amazed at how much power you gain when you refuse to be provoked. Habit number 4, they don't chase people, they choose. We have all been there, chasing after someone, a friend, a romantic interest, a work opportunity. You pour your time, energy, and emotions into them because you feel you need them. There is a belief that if you try hard enough, if you show how much you care, they will come around. You do everything to win their approval and make them see your worth. But deep down, it feels exhausting, and despite all your effort, it never feels like enough. The truth is, when you chase someone or something, you are handing away your power. You are giving someone else control over your energy, emotions, and time. Emotionally strong people understand something profound: the right people will stay, and the wrong ones will leave. It is that simple. There is no need to beg, chase, or plead for their attention. You do not need to chase anyone to prove your worth. The people who truly value and respect you will stay without you having to bend over backward. Conversely, those who are not aligned with you will walk away, and you let them. When you release the need to chase, you free yourself. You are no longer holding on to relationships, friendships, or opportunities that drain or manipulate you. This is not about being cold or indifferent. It is about recognizing that your value does not depend on someone else's recognition. When you understand your own worth, you no longer feel the need to chase. Instead, you attract those who align with you, those who see your value without needing to be convinced. This shift in mindset can truly change your life. When you stop chasing, you stop seeking validation, approval, and affirmation from others. Instead, you begin to choose who stays in your life. You choose people who respect you and value you for who you are, not for what you can give them. It is a subtle yet powerful change. You no longer invest time trying to fix relationships that were never meant to be. Instead, you focus on nurturing the ones already aligned with your values. These are the relationships that truly matter and help you grow. The act of chasing only invites manipulation. When you are constantly running after someone, trying to gain their attention, you give them the power to decide how much of you they get. You set yourself up to be used and drained emotionally without receiving anything in return. But when you stop chasing, you stop offering your energy to people who do not appreciate it. You stop trying to prove your worth to those who will never truly see it. Instead, you begin to attract people who respect you and see your value without you needing to beg. This is not about being passive or distant. It is about understanding your worth and knowing the right people will see it without you having to chase them. It is about trusting that you do not need to chase down opportunities, relationships, or validation. You attract what you are. When you know your worth, you become magnetic to the right people. They are naturally drawn to you because you are aligned with your true self. The more you embrace your true self, the less you will feel the need to chase after people who do not align with you. The people who matter, those who will support, uplift, and genuinely value you, will stay because they recognize the real you. You do not have to prove yourself or chase after them. You simply need to be. When you stop chasing, you give yourself the freedom to be exactly who you are without needing anyone's approval. Focus on the people who choose you. These are the ones who see your worth without needing to be convinced. They respect you because of who you are, not because of what you do for them. These people do not require you to jump through hoops to earn their affection or respect. They are drawn to your authenticity and your alignment with your values. When you begin to focus on choosing these people, you will realize how much easier life becomes. There is no more stress or anxiety over whether you are good enough because the people who matter have already chosen you. This does not mean closing yourself off to new connections. It simply means you are no longer spending energy on relationships that do not nourish you or contribute to your growth. You are not a beggar for attention, you are a magnet for people who see your value and treat you with the respect you deserve. This is the foundation of healthy relationships, where both parties come together because they want to, not because they have to. Ultimately, the most powerful people do not chase others for validation. They do not waste time begging for attention or approval. They attract the right people through authenticity, strength, and an unwavering sense of self. When you adopt this mindset, you will find that the people who truly matter will stay without you having to chase them down. They will recognize your worth for what it is, and that will be enough. So, let go of the chase. Trust that the right people will find you. Focus on choosing those who align with your values, and let the rest go. When you stop chasing, you give yourself the freedom to live a life filled with people who truly respect and value you. The right people will stay, and the wrong ones will leave. That is exactly as it should be. Habit number 5, they see patterns, not apologies. We have all heard it before, someone makes a mistake, does something hurtful, and then apologizes. They say all the right things, promise to change, and ask for forgiveness. But then time passes, and the same behaviors resurface. You are left feeling deceived, as if their apology was just a way to smooth things over until the next time. So why does this happen? Why do we continue to fall for apologies that never lead to real change? People who cannot be controlled have learned a powerful lesson: they do not fall for empty apologies. They understand that words are easy. Anyone can say they are sorry, promise to do better, and yet continue making the same mistakes. Words mean nothing if actions do not match them. The true test of a person's character is not in the apology, but in the behavior that follows. An apology can be a tool to avoid trouble, buy time, or smooth things over. But if actions do not change, the apology is just noise, not a genuine expression of remorse, but a tactic to avoid consequences without addressing the root problem. Instead of focusing on what someone says, pay attention to what they do. Observe their behavior and look for patterns. It is not the words that matter, it is the actions that tell the true story. Manipulators understand that words can be powerful, but words without action are hollow. They will apologize, and you may feel everything is fine again. But if you are wise, you will watch their behavior. Do they change? Do they follow through on their promises? Or is it just a cycle of apologies with no real change? The more you pay attention to these patterns, the less likely you are to be manipulated by empty promises. Actions reveal the truth about someone's character. True strength comes when you stop trusting empty words and start focusing on the consistency of their behavior. The person who truly regrets their actions will show it through consistent, meaningful change. They will not just apologize when caught, they will take responsibility, learn from their mistakes, and make an effort not to repeat them. However, someone who does not truly care will continue to say sorry without actually changing. The apology becomes a way to shift blame, buy more time, and keep you from seeing the truth. If you want to avoid falling into the trap of empty apologies, the first step is to stop expecting words to make up for behavior. Instead, start observing the consistency of a person's actions over time. Do they show up when they say they will? Do they follow through on their promises? Do they treat you with respect even when it is difficult? These are the real signs of someone who is genuinely sorry and committed to making things right. The apology is just the surface, the real work is in the actions that follow. This shift in perspective is empowering. It puts control back in your hands. When you stop focusing on the apology and start paying attention to patterns, you begin to see people for who they really are. You stop making excuses for their behavior and stop accepting their words as enough. Instead, you hold them accountable for what they do. In doing so, you reclaim your power, your peace, and your trust in yourself. Carl Jung said, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely." People who cannot be manipulated understand this deeply. They know that real change comes from within and is reflected in consistent behavior. Apologies are easy, change is hard. So they learn to accept the truth of a person's character based on their actions, not their words. They do not waste time hoping for change, they watch for it. If it does not come, they move on. They understand that true self-respect comes from setting boundaries and holding people accountable. Think about your own life. How many times have you given someone a pass because they apologized? How many times have you let them back in after they promised to change, only to have the same thing happen again? Now imagine the freedom of stopping that cycle. Imagine trusting your instincts, watching people's behavior, and accepting that actions speak louder than words. This is not about being cynical or distrustful. It is about protecting your peace. It is about not allowing others to waste your time or manipulate your emotions with empty words. When you stop falling for apologies and start observing patterns, you begin to see the truth more clearly. You realize you do not have to settle for promises, you deserve actions that match the words. You deserve consistency, respect, and honesty. And when someone continuously fails to deliver, you can let them go without guilt, knowing you have honored your own boundaries and self-worth. Ultimately, people who cannot be manipulated do not get caught in the trap of empty apologies. They see through the facade. They watch for real change in someone's behavior. They stop giving second, third, or fourth chances based on words alone. In doing so, they protect themselves from emotional manipulation and preserve their peace. So, the next time someone apologizes but does not change, remember that their words are just that, words. When you pay attention to the patterns, you will know exactly where you stand. Habit number 6, they protect their energy like it's currency. Energy is precious. It is something we all possess, but we often do not realize its value until we have given too much away. Think about it, after spending time around negative, draining people, how do you feel? Often exhausted, mentally and emotionally drained, like a phone battery at 1%. That is the impact people can have if you are not careful. People who are unshakable, those who maintain their peace and strength regardless of circumstances, understand this deeply. They protect their energy as if it were currency. They know that every interaction, conversation, and encounter costs them something. Their energy is finite, and once spent, it is gone. They are not willing to squander it on situations or people who do not deserve it. If you constantly give your energy to people who drain you, to relationships that suck the life out of you, or to environments that leave you feeling empty, you will burn out. Protecting your energy is not just a choice, it is a necessity. It is about taking care of yourself, setting boundaries, and refusing to let others take what you cannot afford to lose. This is where the ability to say no comes in. The unshakable say no without guilt. They do not apologize for prioritizing their own peace. They do not feel bad for walking away from toxic conversations, environments, or people who constantly bring them down. Consider how often you have stayed in situations just to avoid upsetting someone. Maybe you have tolerated negativity because you did not want to seem rude. But at what cost? The longer you stay, the more your energy is drained, affecting your mood, productivity, and overall well-being. Those who are unshakable understand it is okay to walk away. They know protecting their peace is more important than people-pleasing or meeting others' expectations. It is not about being selfish, it is about self-preservation. Just as you would not spend money recklessly on things that add no value, you should not spend your energy on things that do not nourish your soul. Protecting your energy is not about shutting yourself off from the world, but about being intentional with where you invest your time and emotional resources. Carl Jung said, "Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside, dreams, who looks inside, awakes." This is the essence of energy protection. When you look inward and understand your own needs and values, you become more discerning about where you give your energy. You begin to see the value in saying no, creating space for yourself, and choosing relationships and environments that align with your growth. The clearer your vision of who you are and what you need, the easier it is to protect your energy and preserve your peace. Imagine how much better you would feel if you set boundaries with people who drain you. Picture walking away from a toxic conversation without guilt. Instead of feeling depleted, you would feel empowered, knowing you made a choice that honors your well-being. You would feel lighter, more in control, and more connected to your inner peace. The unshakable also understand that protecting energy is not just about avoiding draining people. It is about being selective with how they spend their time. They prioritize things and people that align with their values, lift them up, and help them grow. Whether saying no to draining work commitments or stepping away from unfulfilling social situations, they ensure their mental, emotional, and physical health come first. By doing so, they create space for what truly matters, the things that nourish them and help them live in alignment with their purpose. Imagine how freeing it would feel to stop apologizing for saying no, to stop feeling guilty for protecting your peace. Imagine how much more you could accomplish and how much more energy you would have for what truly matters. The more you protect your energy, the more you give yourself the opportunity to show up as your best self, present, grounded, and capable of handling whatever comes your way. This does not mean cutting people off at the first sign of negativity or retreating from all social situations. It is about balance. It is about recognizing when something or someone consistently drains your energy without adding value. It is about being aware of how much you are giving and ensuring you are giving to the right things. It is about having the strength to say no when needed and walk away from situations that no longer serve your highest good. When you do this, you stop giving away your energy to undeserving things and start feeling more centered, empowered, and capable. As you begin to protect your energy, you will notice something incredible. You start attracting people, opportunities, and experiences that align with your energy. You draw in things that nourish you, support your growth, and help you become your best self. The more you protect your energy, the more you create space for positive, uplifting forces in your life. So remember, your energy is a precious resource. Protect it like you would your money. Do not feel guilty for saying no when necessary. Prioritize your peace, and do not apologize for taking care of yourself. The more you do this, the more you will realize the power you have over your life. When you start protecting your energy, you will find your life becomes more intentional, peaceful, and aligned with who you truly are. Habit number 7, they let silence speak for them. The final habit carries a profound power many overlook, the power of silence. Consider the most influential figures in history, leaders, philosophers, those who left a lasting impact. Many were known for their quiet strength. Their power was not in what they said, but often in what they did not say. They understood that silence can speak volumes without uttering a single word. When you learn to harness this same power, you too become unshakable. We live in a world where everyone feels compelled to speak their mind. People argue, defend opinions, and constantly try to prove themselves, often at the expense of their peace. But those who are truly unshakable know they do not need to engage in every battle, argue every point, or respond to every provocation. When someone tries to provoke you, the first step is to stay silent. Manipulators and those who thrive on stirring chaos want a reaction. They want to see you upset or flustered because it gives them control. They know if they can get you to react, they can steer the conversation, situation, or your emotions in their desired direction. But when you do not give them that reaction, when you stay silent and poised, they lose their power. Silence does not mean weakness. It is not about being passive or afraid to speak up. It is about knowing when not to respond. The power lies in your ability to remain unaffected, to stand strong in your center no matter what others throw your way. Distance often exposes the truth faster than confrontation. When you remain silent, you create space. In that space, the truth begins to reveal itself. When someone tries to provoke or manipulate you, their words lose weight if you refuse to engage. You give them nothing to latch onto, and in that emptiness, their true intentions become clearer. This is not just about avoiding drama or conflict, it is a strategic choice from a place of inner strength. Silence gives you the opportunity to assess, process, and decide how to move forward. It is a moment of control. By staying silent, you take back power in any situation. Consider how many times you have felt the need to defend yourself, only to have the situation spiral out of control. The more you argue, the more the other person digs in. The more you explain, the more vulnerable your position becomes. Silence, on the other hand, allows you to remain steady. It is a shield, a way to stand firm without justifying your existence or actions. Carl Jung once said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." When we respond to provocation, it often reveals more about our own insecurities than about the other person. But when we choose silence, we give ourselves space to rise above those emotions. We stop reacting from hurt or defensiveness and approach the situation with clarity and control. The more you practice this, the more you will realize your silence reflects inner strength. It is not just about avoiding unnecessary confrontation, it is about choosing to remain grounded in your own sense of self, regardless of what others say or do. Silence is not always easy. It takes strength to resist the urge to speak, defend, or react. It requires discipline and self-awareness. But it is one of the most powerful tools you have in any situation where someone is trying to provoke you. Whether in a heated argument or a manipulative conversation, your silence will make them feel what words never could. It will shift the power dynamic. You no longer give them the satisfaction of your reaction or allow them to pull you into their emotional chaos. By remaining silent, you let them feel the weight of their own actions. You do not need to explain or defend, the silence itself sends a message louder than any words. Think about applying this in your own life. Next time someone tries to provoke you, instead of rushing to explain or getting defensive, take a step back. Let silence fill the space. You will be amazed at how powerful it feels to hold your ground without saying a word. You will also notice how much more in control you feel when you do not give in to others' emotional demands. In a world that constantly pushes for reactions, silence is an act of resistance. It is a way to maintain your peace and protect your energy. Remember, silence is not the same as being passive or avoiding difficult conversations. There are times when speaking up is necessary. The key is knowing when silence is more powerful than words. Silence gives you a chance to pause, think, and choose your response consciously. It prevents you from getting caught in unnecessary arguments and allows you to maintain control over your emotional state. The power of silence goes beyond avoiding conflict. It is about embracing your own confidence. The more you use silence strategically, the more you will see it shift the power dynamic in your favor. People used to getting reactions will lose their grip when they see their words no longer have the desired effect. Ultimately, what you choose not to respond to is often more powerful than what you choose to say. So, the next time you are faced with provocation, remember, your silence speaks louder than anything you could say. It is a sign of strength, self-awareness, and unshakable control. Instead of being drawn into an emotional battle, use silence to create space for clarity, truth, and power. True strength is not in what you say, but in what you choose not to respond to. Your silence is your shield, your peace, and your power. Embrace it, and watch as the world around you begins to respect your inner calm. If this message resonated with you, consider watching one of the suggested videos on screen to continue your journey of self-mastery. Thank you for being part of this community. Remember, your silence is becoming your strength.